Number 10. Radhakant Bijpai. An Indian grocer named Radhakant Bijpai is the owner of a rather bizarre world record. In 2003, Guinness World Records flew to Lugar Pradesh in northern India to authenticate him as the owner of the world's longest ear hair now. While most people have to begin grooming their ear hair after a certain age, Bijpai has chosen to let his grow free, and when officials took their measurements in 2003, it had achieved a length of 13.2 centimeters. However, much like the champ that he is, even after getting the official record of Baji Bacons, he needed to grow it out. The visit times his wife has urged him to cut it, but she says she is understand of the fact that his ear locks are a source of pride for him. Bon GP continued taking very good care of the hair, and in 2009 he egged Guinness re-evaluate his record, and they realized that the hair had grown an astounding 25 centimeters in length. Number 9. Mehmet Osirik. Mehmet Osirik of the Turkey holds the distinction of having the world's longest nose. His record was first authenticated on March 18, 2010, and to this day no one is said to take his place. Just how big is the world's biggest nose? Well, when it was measured in 2010, it had reached a length of 8.8 centimeters or 3.55 inches. Unlike some of the other entries on today's list, if this record wasn't personally measured by Guinness, instead on Zurich traveled to Rome, Italy to appear on Les showed a record for the record show on March 18 of 2010. Number 8. Macy Corin showed a record for the record show on March 18 of 2010. Number the 8th of May. Yurina Yekaterina Lysina is a former basketball player and model, Penza Oblast, Russia, but she is renowned not for her athletic prowess but of her unique physical attributes. Latina not only has the biggest feet of any women in Russia, but she also has the longest legs in the world. That was until September of 2019, when a 16-year-old girl came along to snag a title. Macy Corin of Austin, Texas is a young girl who by the age of 18 months was already 2 feet 11 inches tall, and by the time she was 9 she was 5 feet 7 inches tall, and it was apparently to everyone that she was going to be quite a lot taller than her peers. Her extreme growth continued. By the age of 16 she had reached height of 6 feet 9 inches tall. However, the tallest woman in the world was Sandy Allen, who stood at a height of 7 feet 7 inches, and even though she was growing rapidly, she was far cry from 7 foot 7. However, as it turned out, her specific proportions meant that even though she wasn't the tallest woman in the world, she actually had the longest legs. Corin's legs were shocking 53 inches, and that's a 1.3 meter or almost 4.5 feet. Corin's height, however, has presented some challenges for her. In her own words, she says, quote, "When I started growing in 9th grade, one was relieved because when I get those growing pains in my legs that were so terrible." She also expressed trouble with hitting her head on doors, getting into cars, and trying to find clothes that fit despite the challenges associated with her height here, in hopes to make the best of it and as her eyes set on a career in modeling. Yes, for a Yekaterina Latina, she might not have the longest legs anymore, but she is still the proud owner of the largest female feet in Russia, so there is something for that. Number 7. Lee Redmond and Sridhar Chillal. Lee Redmond was once a well-known feature on the talk show circuit. She had started growing her nails in 1978, and by 2008 she had grown them to an average length of 35 inches or 88 centimeters. In fact, all her laid end to end would be almost 25 feet. Unfortunately, in February of 2009 she was involved in a tragic accident that not only left her seriously injured, but also destroyed her famous fingernails. Now, while there was nobody there to snatch her title of world's longest nails, at least no one with as many nails as she had, but there was Sridhar Chillal. Jalal have been growing the nails in his left hand for over 6 decades, and with no two-handed opponents that have thrown him, he became the owner of the longest nails in the world. For Chillal, although having the road's longest nails came at a price. The profound weight of his nails, which if laid end to end over 30 feet long, began to take a toll on his health, and he started to face increased difficulty moving this hand and suffered disfigurement of his fingers. Well, it's even worse is that the damage to his hand resulted in nerve damage, which eventually rendered him deaf in his left ear. Finally had to concede, and his nails were Cut off in 2018 using a specialized power tool, and they are now displayed at the reports believe it or not museum in New York City. As of current, there is no one with nails that can compete with Redmond or Cello Sue. If you happen to have 30-foot long nails, it may just be your time for your 15 minutes of fame. Their slugger. Number 6. She kept ink. She clipping was born in China in 1916. At the age of 13 she made it to never cut her hair again, and she stuck by her guns so much so that in 2004 the Guinness Book of World Records declared that she had the longest documented hair in recorded history. Her long lavish locks were documented at a length of 18 feet and 5.5 inches or 5.62 meters. It seems like all that hair would be a pain to carry around, but when asked, keeping said, quote, "It's no trouble at all, I'm used to it, but you need patience and you need to hold yourself straight when you have hair." Number 5. Hans Langset. Next up we have a different type of world record. These days beard are a hot fashion accessory, but believe it or not, the Lant beard in history is attached to a modern day hipster, and now it belonged to one of the members of ZZ Top. Either no, it rather belonged to a man named Hans and Langseth. Langseth was born in 1846 and died in 1927 at age 81, a farmer from Norway. At this time of his death his beard measured 17.5 feet or 5.3 meters. Making it the longest beard in recorded history today, as Beard says at the Department of Anthropology at the Smithsonian Institution. When one beard is gone another is grown, that's the same, am I right? Anyways, currently the longest beard on a living person belongs to Tsar Juan Singe of Canada, who first had his bountiful beard measured for Italian TV show Lo Shady Record on March 4, 2010. Their officials concluded it was 7 feet 9 inches long. The following year in Surrey, British Columbia, Canada, his beard was remeasured and was determined to be 8 feet 2 inches long. Number 4. Matthew McGrory. Matthew McGrory was an American actor who, among other things, had roles in Men in Black, To House of a Thousand Corpses, Charmed, and The Devil's Rejects, but perhaps God made McGrory most memorable was his enormous presence. No, really, he was massive. McGrory stood as a towering 7 feet 6 inches and held the distinction of walking on the world's biggest feet. McGrory wears a men's shoe size 29.5. Dude, this was even bigger than Andre the Giant, sadly. Though McGrory died in 2005 at the age of 32, a friendly giant, he was loved by those who work with him in both The Devil's Rejects and 2017's The Evil Within were dedicated to his memory. The current holder of the world's largest foot record, at least for men's, is Venezuela's Jason Orlando Rodriguez Hernandez, who as of 2016 had a right foot measuring 40.1 centimeters or 1.31 feet long. Number 3. Robert Pershing Wadlow. The hands in the world belong to Robert Wadlow, who's also the world's tallest man until his death at the age of 22 in 1940. Also known as the Illinois Giant, his gigantic hands measure 12.75 inches or 32.3 centi from the wrist. The tip of his middle finger. The world's largest hands on a living person are currently 28.5 centimeters and belong to a man named Sultan Kosun in Turkey. Now this time I'll tell you top 2 of this video. Number 2. Two people. Actually, a California YouTuber named Chanel Tapper has a tongue roughly the size of an iPhone. Her nearly 4-inch tongue was deemed the world's longest by Guinness in 2013. The world's longest nail song belongs to Next Orville and is a respectable 10.1 centimeters or 3.98 inches. Number 1. Jonah Adam Falcon. Jonah Adam Falcon may not be the most successful on today's list, but he does have another claim to fame that has turned on him quite a lot of attention. Falcon is the host of Talking About Yankees, an hour-long cable television call-in show dedicated to happenings in the New York Yankees ball club, but he rose the national attention in 1999 after it was determined that he had a 13.5-inch Brooklyn native. Has been the subject of several TV specials, including Showtime's Unhung Hero, HBO's Private Men Expose, and TCL Strand, the 13-year-old, and media giggling so madly right now. He also had smaller roles in Melrose Place, The Sopranos, Law and Order, in the 2001 drama A Beautiful Mind. Despite his multiple appearances in media, things haven't always been easy for Falcon, who lives on and off with his mother in New York, and in 2003 interview with Out magazine he revealed that he is In fact bisexual, and that as long as relationship was with a woman and lasted for just 1 year when he isn't in a committed relationship. Falcon has been propositioned too many times for her unit project relating to his oversized member, including a photographer who paid him $500 to pose in his underwear. What even is this list anymore? Well, there may be some obvious career paths associated with his larger-than-life body part. Falcon has been adamant about not working in the adult industry because he wanted to be taken seriously as an actor, and tears of such a move would jeopardize his chances at illegitimate acting career. And you know, sir, I support you. Which one of the part on today's list did you find more shocking? And hit the like button and subscribe to insane videos.